talk about one like single mom of two, not having,
Okay, let's do this.
sense her last sense on
Okay, listen.
coaching program that turns her life around.
I'll just leave that in right there. You just explained it. So yeah, thanks for being able to share your story today and give some hope and motivation, inspiration to people that maybe were in the same situation you found yourself in, like, 25 days ago.
Yeah, true.
You ready to? Awesome. Thanks. All right, so Carolina is from on a group for some assistance in her situation. So Carolina is a mother of two young boys of 9 and 11, kind of like me, which is cool. And she lives in Sweden. And she had, I'll let you tell your story a little bit, but she had gone through a lot of courses, a lot of worked with some coaches in the past, and had been studying personal development for like 15 or 16 years, and was kind of going through a trial in her life. And we connected, and I was able to kind of help her see things differently, and some things have really changed and moved around for her. And I thought it would be cool to have, her on to share her story. So Carolina, 30 days ago when we met, what was the reason that you had reached out to me at that point?
It was desperate want to change, desperate desire to succeed. I was so beaten up by, no, I wouldn't say by life, but by my own decisions in life. And at the end, it came down that it became circumstances that I felt a victim of life, as if it wasn't me doing that, it was like life doing to me. So I felt into sort of a victim mentality. But all the knowledge that I was studying since I was interested into personal development since I was 14 just told me that this isn't true. That which I, try to tell the people why I'm not succeeding was actually my intuition telling that this isn't true, that it's actually me doing this to myself, because I knew it's not the circumstances that control my life. I create my circumstances, and I had this knowledge. So I couldn't ever understand, like, why am I not succeeding? I'm doing the affirmations, I'm reading tons of books, and I get inspired. I read the book, and I'm consistent for some period of time, and then I fall into my old paradigm. Kevin can tell you about what old paradigm thing is all about, so that everybody knows what I mean by paradigm.
Yeah, I mean, the paradigm is you're explaining the way that you've been kind of trained to be and trained to react, because it's not really serving you, but you can't help but react a certain way. So your paradigm it tells you things about yourself that are not necessarily true, what you're capable of, what your potential is. And old paradigms die hard sometimes. And I think you were still dealing with some of that and trying to, believe in some of the things that you were saying. You said you were doing affirmations, but it wasn't really clicking for you. You haven't really seen the results you were looking for, and you thought it was you. You were blaming yourself. You were just kind of a victim of your circumstances, when really the circumstances are the least of it all. It's really what's going on inside of you. I think that's what you finally realized.
Yeah,
is that fair?
It was actually, excuse me, what did you say?
I said, is that fair to say?
Of course, it's fair to say. And I would add also the big change, I would say it came through understanding that my persistency was persistent only when I wanted to get something out of life, like quick, like let's say I want this car, I want this guy, I want this house. And I was pretty dope in manifesting amazing stuff in my life before, which made me in the end even to come around, and it just all turned down to me because my intention behind of my desires wasn't pure. It was the want for money, the because I thought that what would make me happy, the want for having a bigger house. And it's all natural for us when we have this craving, have this desire to when we don't have it, when we don't feel fulfilled, we think that it's the things that will make us happy.
Right.
And I said, all right, I understand that, but at the same time, I'm not happy not having it. So tell me, how can I get this blissful feeling that I'm all right until, the guy comes or I buy this house? And I sort of stopped manifesting and wanting things, even, well, maybe not stop wanting, but going after the things, because I felt worn down, because it never bring the long lasting results that I was seeking. I was seeking the fulfillment, and I was seeking not fake. I would, you know, would be able to attract some success, but it always, you know,
Came and went.
pay back. Yeah, came and went, and it would even in the end would drag me even into the, when you have debt and you think that the money will solve the problems, but it's actually financial literacy that will can save your problems with money.
Sure.
So instead of, I was getting money, I was lending a lot of money from banks, from people.
You mean
And
borrowing?
thank you. And it made me even go more downwards, where I did not want it to be in the end. So I realized there is something, apparently, either I do not understand, or I need some kind of road pointer, because I knew that it's not supposed to take 16 years to change.
So is that when we talk? Is that when you reached out, or like when is that when you first got your first coach? Like, because when we first met, maybe explain your situation when we first met. Like, you said you were manifesting in the past, but when we first met, you were kind of in a certain situation that was kind of like you had fallen victim to, and you wanted to get out of it.
Yeah, well, in the first place, well, I thought, like, this is it. I'm either going down, feeling suicidal, getting some drugs, and going to the hospital to take care of me, which was not option. I wouldn't recommend anyone to do that. I wanted to live because I have 2 kids. Not only because of that, life is amazing, but it's
But I think
either
it's important
that.
what you're saying there. I'll stop you real quick. Is you're having potential suicidal thoughts because things get so bad, and it's not just you. It's a lot of people that they get to that place where they don't feel like they even have they either have support, they feel victim to their situation, that they're never going to get out of it, and they do resort to things which would not be. I mean, it is what it is, right? But wouldn't suggest anybody taking their own
No.
life. But that's the point that people get to, and people underplay that is the situation that happens a lot.
And you fall into this victim mentality, and I have had those thoughts in the past. And what I've learned from my past experience, they didn't let me where I wanted to be. They led me into more victim of mentality, being not in the power, being woman not in the power, feeling worthless, useless, and powerless. And I decided I don't want it to feel that way. But at the end of the night, I didn't know how to do it. So I was on the Neville Goddard's site, just again randomly seeking for answers, because the only thing probably that helped me, that I was never giving up of searching for answers.
Right.
I knew that there is an answer, but I knew that I did not found my answer. I didn't found my way, because I had coaches in my life. I had invested a lot of money into, certain programs, all the kind of things, but I never seen the results. And when I was talking about the persistence, I was persistent when I wanted to manifest something. So when I reached out, I was total, not zero. I was total minus a lot. let's say minus 800,000 crowns, to be very exact. That means I cannot take any loan. I have two kids that need to go to the school, that I grown up with a dad that had money and they expect this good life, and I'm not able to buy milk because I don't have enough 2 crowns to buy. And that hurted me so bad to tears. Like, I lost my car due to I wasn't being able to do the down payments. I was living at a friend's house. He was feeding me. I didn't have any money to pay for that. I lost the job. I'm a flight attendant because of the COVID. Yeah, what to add more? Depression, gaining weight, feeling unhappy, unloved, all of that at the same time. The comfort given of my friend that I had some place to stay and sleep for a couple of days, which actually just gave me a relief for a couple of days, because that friend actually just told me in when I reached out to you that I have to move, and I was literally having nowhere to go. So I had 3 days to get 30,000 crowns into my bank account to be able to keep my car, which was all blank bank loan. And that would, make me eligible at least to be moving somewhere, doing something. Thanks God, my kids were able to stay with their dad. I wasn't feeling really good because I couldn't meet even my kids because I didn't have a diesel to fill in my car to go
Right.
to them.
Yeah,
Not
you were in a
even
bad
talking
place.
about,
And didn't
not
you get
even
your car stolen too?
yes, that's why I came also into that. All the impossible things that horrible impossible things that I thought doesn't happened me because I was in this negative place. And like, if anything bad was able to happen, it happened me. Like, if I would park and I would even check where the where to pay, I would get a ticket, or I would I'm so sorry.
Bless.
Like, all possible negative stuff that was
It's
just
like
just
Murphy's
happened.
law, right? If it's gonna happen bad, it's gonna happen to you, and it did. And
And
you said that you were brought on by your negative mindset. You were in this negative place, and you were attracting negativity. And it's hard to break that cycle sometimes because you get negative momentum.
so, thanks to me being jobless, and my friend, which I was staying for a couple of days at, and in that apartment, I was being able to be alone maybe for a day, but it was like I was feeling so depressed I couldn't get up out of bed.
Yeah.
And I'm not a lazy person, but I couldn't find any meaning into going up, because whatever I would do from that point would turn against me. So I decided, well, it's better I will just stay in bed.
Mm.
I felt I was even a burden just to being alive to people, because I had to borrow for money. Like, every glass of milk I drank from my friend, I feel guilty because I'm not paying for that. And I felt a burden just to live. At the point where I thought, well, maybe my kids are better off without this unsuccessful mom. I don't want them to see
Sure.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very common, I think, to people who are um, high ambitious perfectionists, because how I was raised, uh, you have to succeed, otherwise you're nothing, you're no worth. If you don't have a degree, you have no worth. If you don't have a husband, you're no worth. If you don't have this and this, you have no worth. All of that totally took me into the depression. So what I did, I was like, just randomly on my telephone, the only thing I owned, and it actually had this cracked screen too, by the way, and the phone bill wasn't paid. I had to buy these cards uh, that you can only use for
You're
for
prepaid.
the prepaid. So if not, that situation doesn't sound bad enough, like I can continue, but enough of that. Enough of that. I I was going into the site, and there was something. I had this question. Somebody wrote something, and I said, "Well, what would you do?" It was some kind of sarcastic question. I said, "Well, I don't know. Nothing is working," and then you, Kevin, you wrote, "Well, I think I can help." My first thought when I read this on my Instagram, first I was connecting to a lot of people, and they all said that they can help, and they are saying like, and I would like directly, what does it cost? What does it cost? And well, I don't have any money to give you, so so the first thought when you wrote an answer on a Facebook group, I think I can help, was, well, yeah, good luck with that, girl, good luck with that. And I really like sort of meant it, and like, good luck with that. You don't know what you're going into, you don't know how fucked up I am.
Yeah.
And from that day, you said, well, send me a DM, we'll chat. The first of the questions of mine, like, what does it cost? Like, I wouldn't even accept the positive of that somebody can chat with me without taking advantage of and earning money. That's how I come into meeting you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you were very, very kind of skeptical that I could help you in the first chats. Do you have a copy of those chats, by the way?
Yes,
that'd be fun to post. Yeah,
world.
Yeah, we'll post those so people can see. It's just like, you're in a place where you didn't trust, you didn't think anybody could help you, and even like you said, you were embarrassed to even take help. So you were kind of like in the worst case scenario. But I didn't really care about that. I just wanted to help. So thankfully, you listened, and you noticed something that was helping you, I guess. What was it that you feel helped you, or what did I say that made you decide that you wanted to kind of pursue getting more help?
Well, first of all, it was like, why does anybody wants to help? First of all, I was like, there is some kind of hack in that. They need to earn money. Scam, fake guru, blah, 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 all of that. But what I encountered, that people, when they're really successful, the first thing we want to do is to give back and help others. And successfully enough, you were one of them. And I said, well, come on, how much does your coaching cost? And I said, well, I'm sorry, I do not have that money. And he said, relax. The first chat or the call doesn't cost any money. To chat and give a question doesn't give any money, doesn't take any money. And I was like, well, all right, that means I do not lose anything. So in the chat, I was starting to throw up with all my negativity to you. Like, I don't know how you beared with me, but probably you're a really good coach. But like all the skeptics that are ever present there, and I am the one that know word by word all the Nevilles, all the Abraham Hicks, all the Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, all those gurus I've been following, and you could not say anything to me that I would not oppose. If you remember that, Kevin, like I would oppose, and I have to say to every single sentence that you had to say something that, don't say that, that's not like this, I've done that, that's not working. And that what made me to want to continue. You said something, well, you have to understand that what you are learning is really good, that what you were reading in the book, that's all good. I feel like a library, but does it give me results? You ask. And I said, no, it doesn't. Well, he says, well, think like that. When you're an athlete, don't you have a coach? I said, yes, you have. But I said also, look, I'm not some kind of dropout of school, that I don't have any brain cells that I cannot think myself. And I thought that I was good enough to to figure out on my own, just through reading a book and implement the information? Apparently not. So you said you should have a mind coach, because it's like having athletes have a coach just to reach the certain goal. And it's not that they are not running fast enough as their coach. Their coach might not be even running, but the coach is a person who's done it, who walked through the walk that you have to walk to get the results. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the coach has to have lived your kind of life. Definitely not. But it's really good to have someone you resonate with. But a good coach is always able to let you have the space to grow yourself and to understand it yourself. Coach doesn't tell you, go do this, you'll succeed. No. Coach lets you, puts the mirror in front of you, sort of, and
Yeah.
lets you to look
I like
at
that
it
analogy.
and understand what it is that you're seeing. And the mirror you put in front of me did not match what I used to see in my mirror when I look at myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm saying that, I have these goosebumps going right now. It made me like, and then after the chat, and I was like, in the middle of the chat, I said, so what do you think is my biggest problem, I guess, or something. I said, I'll post the chat after we talk. It says, well, I think that persistency is the key in having someone to guide you, because you don't have a structure, you don't know where to go. You're like a flashlight lighting all over the place. You have no focus. Focus is one of the lessons Bob Proctor teaches, and if you go this program that Kevin is providing is just amazing. So and then I was quiet for a bit for myself in the phone on Messenger in the kitchen at my friend's apartment, and I was like, and then the bulb lamp shined, light on, like
The light went off.
the light went off, and I was like,
It went on, maybe.
and I said, like, do you mean that I wasn't succeeding because my persistency was not enough? I'm like, I was the person that knows most about persistency, that you have to persist to get your goals, but I was not tipping the scale. The scale that is used at the pharmacy, that you tip the scale, the old ones. So I had this all knowledge, and I thought, well, I was doing it for 16 years, so I'd probably, have good results by now. But the question marks still remain, why my results isn't. So I thought my scale was kind of flipping up, but the results showed that they weren't. My scale was like this and going downwards. And in that second, when you told me, well, yeah, it sounded so simple that it just blew my mind. That wait a minute, did you just said that I wasted 16 years with something I had knowledge, but I didn't implement long enough? And I
You knew how to do it, but didn't know how to actually do it.
Goosebumps. Yeah. And you said, yeah. At that moment, the shift happened. Instead of looking downwards where my all problems are, all the negativity, for 1 millit of a second, you were able to turn my attention, that my vision, that my all that I ever desired, the security, the feeling happy with my babies and everything, I looked to the other side of the scale. And for a minute of a second, it was possible. You made it, you allowed me to think that it is maybe possible. That's when I decided
inner
I have
belief.
to talk to this guy again. And you did not take anything for the DM chat, which if I wouldn't have just had this DM chat, which was for free, like, guys, if you haven't DM'd Kevin Koch, I recommend you to do that. It doesn't take away $1 from you. And I had these friends on Facebook that they asked me, why are you so successful? And what the fuck has happened to you? You're like New Carolina. And I said, yes. And I said, well, just DM Kevin Koch. And those who did, they're like the happiest people on earth. Just after talking to Kevin, I was like, well, and he doesn't take a lot of credit for that, but because he's the right type of coach, because he understands that the growth comes within you, from you. He said, I didn't do anything, you did it yourself. And yes, thank you, Kevin, I did it myself, but thank you for leading me to myself, to my own door, which I have, to my own treasure chest inside me, which I had all the time. So you kind of opened the door that had, you gave me the key to the door, which had the key to all other doors to open. It's like, you think sometimes, well, what would a single thought, the single change of one thought can do to your life? Well, let me tell you this, from minus 800,000 crowns in my bank account and not having where to live, 3 days to get 30,000, not to lose my car. Not even, it went 3 days. It was 1.5 days. I got in 30,000. Right now, my debt is totally wiped out. In the process of being wiped out, just me connecting to right people, feel the inspiration, feeling the power that I have within, feeling positive, feeling, forward. I spent the most amazing New Year. Today is the 8th of January, and it's the most amazing 30 days of my life that I had. And this, I thought last year was one of the worst years in my life. But at the New Year's night, I was thinking to myself, and I really meant it. This has been the best year of my life. That's when
Isn't that crazy? All of 2020 and all the bullshit and the last month changed it all around because you started thinking differently and believing in yourself.
Yes.
It's a pretty phenomenal story. I mean, some of the details you didn't really tell there, but I mean...
there is a lot of details. And guys, if anybody wants to know any details, I'm very open, because I know how it feels to not have money, how it feels to doubt yourself. I'm sorry. And all of that. So I'm very open to letting everybody, just for free, just reach me out. I'll tell you the story. I'll spend my 30 minutes. I'll spend an hour on you to tell you, because I know that even touching one person's life, I'm helping myself. I'm not doing, I was living in a mentality, life, give me. Now I live in the mentality, what can I give to life? And I did not have any money, but I was looking at my life and thought, whom or what I can do. Like, I was sitting in my car. I didn't have to where to live, and I didn't want $1 million or something like this. I could not imagine of paying for some kind of coaching program or anything like that, because I didn't have food tonight. And right now I'm engaged in this program, and I'm more than happy that I did. And God bless you, Kevin.
Hey, I'm glad I could help. I'm glad you can be where you are right now.
And I'm a real person, guys. I live in Sweden, Stockholm. Nobody paid me money for this, telling you stuff or something. I don't earn any money on that. Or I just want to share with you, you guys, if you want to know, I manifested the love of my life. I have known Kevin now for 30 days. And my life Kevin didn't send me money, by the way, people, you doubters or whatever, naysayers. Nobody sent me any money to make me any advertisement or anything like that. I just want to give back, and I want that you guys are sitting in my situation or something like that. I know there is a lot of alone moms. I feel like a woman in power again, thanks to myself, thanks to my inner power, and thanks for Kevin to reminding me that and showing me the real mirror image that everybody of us have. I'm not some kind of lucky person that Kevin just invested and helped me out. He does that with every single person. I had this just random people reach out to me on Facebook and so, how did you do that? Was that I told them the story. They reached out to Kevin, and like when I see their comments now and then on Facebook, what they're writing, that makes my soul sing. They're And by the way, guys, I now for the first time in my life, I didn't quit my job. Well, I just got, thrown out of my job, but I
Get
am
laid
doing
off.
what I got laid off. I'm doing what I want, and I want to help out. I want to coach people. I want to do so many things. And right now I'm like opening my own business, and I got, fiduciary that helps me with my finances, which teaches me how to do that. And it all came through all the people, through all the energy that came around, and it was not happening in 16 years. I feel like I won the lottery.
Yeah, that's so nuts. I mean, there's a specific point where you called me and you wanted some more time with me, and you said, "Well, I want to pay for your time now because I see it's valuable." And I was like, "Damn, this girl has nothing, and she's willing to pay." And that's what I teach, anyways, because you don't have to, you don't have to know where the next dollar is going to come from or the next meal. You just, if you've got money now, you do what you're supposed to do. You do what you should do. You do what your highest calling. You do what your highest excitement tells you to do. And Carolina said, "Well, I'm going to spend it on you." Well, within the next couple of days, it's like she just told you she had multiple job opportunities. She had someone come into her life who's literally been just like the biggest blessing, providing her with
position that I never had in my life.
She got a management position at a store that she ended up taking, but then deciding, I don't even want it because I want something better. It's like, who turns down a job when you don't have a job?
My parents
because her mindset had changed.
my ex-husband, my ex thought that I was totally crazy. When I don't have a crown in my pocket, I turned out the chef's position. I mean, and my coworkers, when I just visit them at the old work, they said, "Carolina, you talk like a rich person right now." And I says, yes, I feel like
it's
one.
An abundance mindset. Exactly.
Yes, it's just
rich is not in money. Rich is a mindset. It's abundance.
And
poverty
guys,
is a mindset.
it doesn't
Poverty is a
have
mindset.
to take 16 years. It took me, let's say, it was actually in the first 45 minutes within Kevin's coaching. It took 45 minutes in the call. And in the DM, actually, the free version that he gives all of you guys, the free version, my life changed in this free DM with Kevin. And then I decided I had 1,000 crowns that I was to give for my car for the debt the next day. So I had this money, and I had the choice to pay for the coaching, but I had no idea what the coaching cost. So I said, "Kevin, I have only this amount of money in my pocket. I cannot purchase your coaching." So I decided to, whatever it was, I don't really remember, whatever it was, every penny I put, which was not even mine, that was borrowed money. Like, I didn't have any money. And that was the best investment in my life. And that was not even enough money when I got to know what the coaching cost. But it was the best investing. He gave me the first taste of what that coaching would look like. Since that time, I put my mind to, I just need to get that, I just need to get coached. And I put my mind to attracting, allowing whatever the money needed for the coaching. And, circumstances and things came into place where I'm sitting here right now, chatting with you, Kevin, as crowning achievement, whatever you called me facetiously, because he thought that I did the change pretty fast. Like, really, guys, it's been 30 days. I know this person. I was sleeping in the car. I didn't have the shower for 3-4 days. Now I'm sitting in a large house, which I am able to stay at my friends and use it and work with computers, the newest phone, and I mean,
It's 180 degrees is what you're trying to say.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
you went from sleeping in your car to
yeah.
having, I mean, you have a great friend who it couldn't be more polar opposites, 180
I had
degrees.
that friend all the time and never ever
You weren't aware of
felt
it.
that
I think that's the point of this whole, what you're trying to say is that you had been studying for 16 years. You had this friend all your life, but you weren't putting two and two together. You weren't connecting because you had some issue inside. Like, I don't deserve this. I don't believe in myself. I'm looking to try to solve the
I
problem
was
of
asking
myself.
people for money. I was like, I even created the GoFund account where I asked people to donate money for the food. But
yeah, it was desperate
the
times.
universe was, I was asking. I was just wanting out of life, like to press it out. I didn't realize that it's all in me. I have to give to get.
Yes. Yes. I mean, so a couple things that I think that you're trying to say here is that persistence is key. Single mother, broke, destitute, and in a really bad spot, persistence paid off. And the other lesson that I think that is important here is that you can learn a lot of stuff and you can store it in your memory, but unless you know and emotionalize that and apply that, it does nothing for you. No value at all.
I have a high school degree. I have worked at every possible place. I'm a smart girl, as they would say, and I wasn't able to do anything right in my life. I was borrowing money from every person I could, at the point where they wouldn't borrow me anymore.
They wouldn't loan it to you anymore.
Yeah, they wouldn't loan me anymore.
And that's a tight spot to be in, when you have all your support is gone and then you're just left to yourself. I mean, the universe has a way of presenting that type of opportunity for you to grow. And then most people will just try to pay their way out of it, or they'll just distract themselves from the growth that they need to go through. They'll just cover it up for another day with just paying, the people that resonate most with what I do are the people that actually have the money to pay for surf coaching, but they're using the money to stifle their drama or the thing that they don't want to deal with. They're just paying to get out of it, versus they can just pay me and it'll be over very quickly, because they'll learn how to think differently about the situation that they're stressed about just paying to get out of. So that's what I found is the largest population of people that really, really need help. Everybody needs some guidance. Not everybody's willing to be aware of it and look and ask for help, though. The nice thing I think about you is that you were asking for help. You were asking for money. You were saying, I need help, but I don't think you really got the help you needed until you found out that it was all in you and you learned how to apply the principles that you've been learning, right?
Yeah, and talking about fear, like, I want you guys to know that, I was terrified. And the idea of putting the last cent into some guys in United States account that I don't even know will get me some help or not, to risk that. Well, when I did that, I already felt that it might be 1% that this might be the change. And I felt it in my heart that it either will be that, or I'm totally, but I thought, well, you know what? I'm already so fucked up. I don't have anything to lose. These are the borrowed money anyway already. So if I'm in debt 800,000 crowns, I may be 800,000, 1,000 crowns in debt. So fuck it. I send it, and if I had more money, I would have sent more. At that point, I was like, I'm all in. Just do whatever you like with me. And I think what made me to do the biggest steps with Kevin, I guess, if you would agree, it's probably being coachable. Like, I stopped saying, okay, this is not like this doesn't work. Like, I just put off this all fucked up mindset on the shelf for now, all my knowledge and thinking I know everything. I just put it on the shelf just for now, and listened instead. For the first time in my life, I had a problem listening, by the way. I'm learning. I put that on a shelf, and I listened for the first time in my life to someone. Well, maybe whenever I talk something I already know. But if I just dare to listen, maybe I hear something new.
I love that.
that was like that gave me so much back. Like, I don't know, you made me a rich bitch, Kevin.
That's interesting though, because
Like
like you said, if you're
the
teaching, you
interest
can't
you
learn
gave me for the
simultaneously.
money, it just grew like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, the interest. Well, I always say the best investment you can make is in yourself. It's the
I
only.
never agreed in that. You know, I thought about it, but it just never happened. It never gave me any back, you know, anything bad. I didn't felt anything back coming. But you know, when you just decide, there is one thing that you are teaching in your Bob Proctor's Gallagher Institute's program about the making decision. It's like I knew that it's important to make decisions, but I never really understood what does it mean. And you may folks know that, well, it's important to make a decision, blah blah blah, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think until you do it, until you
Mhm.
burn all the bridges behind you, that you don't have anywhere to go anywhere back. Because like everybody would be,
Yes.
you know, laughing at you, and you know, all my family, all the friends, you're so crazy, you and my exes, my everybody was telling, just come down to on our mother earth, and you know, just,
Come back to
and I'm
earth.
like,
Come back to
mm,
reality.
come back to reality. You have to get the work, and you know, stick to that. I'm like,
Get a job.
no, I want to work with my passion. Oh, and I didn't even knew what my passion was until I let myself to think beyond the boundaries. What is that I like to do? And the one thing leads to other. You don't have to know like, oh, this is it. But if you just say this is it, and then it leads to other thing, and it leads to other thing, and then you know, you just like a
Express.
flower, you blossom up, you express your creativity. And right now I have so many projects, my mind is running fast. I'm feeling like an entrepreneur.
That's amazing. I mean, one of the things that you've determined is that you want to be a coach. You want to be able to inspire and motivate others. You've learned this information. Now that you know that you're learning how to apply it, what better way to give back is to give back all the stuff you've been learning. So
Well,
I
it
think
has
that's
been always,
fantastic.
it was always my inspiration when I saw Bob Proctor talking, or Abraham Hicks channeling, or whatever. I wanted to have this knowledge, and it's not just to impress about people, but it's, you know, when you see a kid crying, and if you ever cried the way that kid cried, and you felt the pain, you never want another kid to feel that pain again. And I guess this is what made me want to do it. And if I can just help one person in this planet to not feel the pain that I was feeling at the moment when I was reaching out to Kevin, that
Mm.
I made, I can die happy. Like, I'm tearing up right now. Like,
Mm.
I can die happy, because you cannot. I think I came here to teach love. I don't think that there is anything more. The teaching is love. The teaching is love. That's we are all teachers. We're all coaches. And if we can help in any way, you don't have to have a coaching program, or just give each other support and love. And it will come back to you multiplied and folded over.
Absolutely. That's what we all are. We all come from this stuff called love. You know, God is love. We all have God in us, and I think the purpose of life is to give back love, but more specifically, to find your purpose is to learn how to give love, because you know, in a way that's impactful. Because I could show you love, but I could also show you how to love yourself, and that's even more impactful. So that's fantastic. I mean, I'd love to see your transformation. I mean, where you came from and where you are now. I mean, it's only been 30 days, but I
My
mean,
intention is to
you're
meet you, Kevin. I'll
come on
meet
over
you,
to
and I'll
USA.
give you this big Corona hug, and wow.
That'll, that'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you, Carolina, for sharing your experience, sharing your kind of your journey, and you know, we'll have to do this again as you continue to go through this process and just your awakening. You know, you're on.
Happening all the wonderful stuff every day, every single moment. Like, universe talks to me right now. I did not understand this connection. Like, whatever I turn right now, I see something else. I see abundance. Before, I saw problems on the problems. And you guys, the best decision you can do, just DM Kevin, whatever you have time, DM me, whoever, and make yourself a huge favor and change your life. If you don't want it for yourself, do it for your kids. I mean, first of all, it should be for yourself, because otherwise you don't have anything to give to others. But I know how much I love my kids, and I didn't want them to have a mother that killed herself or was suicidal. I basically needed to give up my children to my ex for some time, for them not to see me cry, because I was crying constantly. I was feeling like depressed clinically, whatever you would call, all kind of sicknesses. I was a fitness girl, but in just a couple of months, when you're in this negativity, it just, my health was ruined. I got all kind of, I could see not properly. I was having headaches every day, and all of that is gone. And the one thing, the big difference, before, when I wake up, I couldn't go up from the bed because it didn't have anything, why to go up. Right
You
now,
couldn't get
I'm
out of
just
bed.
jumping out of my bed with happiness. What kind of miracles these days will gonna bring? And that is very exciting thing for itself to have in your life, just to want to wake up in the morning and like, yes.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, if you got nothing else out of any of this and you have that,
It's enough.
think about
More
it.
than
Think about it. No, I've got a lot of people that are suicidal that feel like life, what's the purpose of life? Well, that's the problem. That's why you don't want to live, because you don't have a purpose. And so the
let them
finding
call
of the
me. Let
purpose
them
is
call
first
me.
finding who you are. Yeah, we'll put your LinkedIn, your Instagram and Facebook, and if anybody wants to reach out to me or Carolina after this, definitely do yourself
Do
a
that.
favor, make a decision. At Golden Ticket Coaching, on my ticket, it says, greetings to you, the decisive winner of this Golden Ticket Coaching. You've got to decide it. I can give you the Golden Ticket, but if you don't use it, if you don't apply
The
it,
golden ticket is
it's
for
not going to do any
free.
good. Yeah. You got to
You
decide
have
to
to
take
just
it. It's here
able
if you
to
want it.
take it.
That's true. Carolina, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad I'm on your call.
Hell yeah. All right, we'll talk later. See ya.
Bye. Talk later. See ya.